It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Moriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Longe. Hello. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So, I'm thinking like many Nigerians, we all watch Shantita. My God.
Yes, everybody
I was so proud. So now we cannot be using that, Nollywood movies. We can't do that anymore. Yeah, we can just say there's A-list Nollywood and then maybe there are B-list production. This was a fantastic production.
Wow.
Yes, there are plot holes or story holes here and there, but it's not enough to even highlight it, to take away from the brilliance that they produced. I was so proud of them, but of course, my heart to Chidimokeme.
Everybody has been talking about.
Whoa! I mean, you watch someone and you think this is the person is exactly who it is. Oh my God!
I agree. It was a good watch. I have my own reservations, but it's personal. But I think it was a good.
Oh yes, I know on the morals. And all those things, those ones are all that kind of conversations you can have. But if we're talking about production,
I haven't. I know that she is and it's good to have someone from the past come back. So
do so well.
Yes, I love the fact that the older Nollywood, because they are older now, they've been veterans for years. Iniedu, Chidimokeme, and say all of them. I thought these people. This has been I've seen a lot of our work recently, but for the rest of them, it was good to see them and to see Iniedu in that role that they cast her for. She tried. He said that kind of beating, when you shove some kind of beating, you don't recover in 3 months. So she get back up and do it over and over again for me. Cool. How was okay. Good. The weekend for me was for family, from my mom, my mother-in-law, back and forth, my sister. It's a lot of. I've been emotionally down, that kind of thing. Yes, but I'm hoping that I'm looking at God for grace.
God to give you strength. It's never easy. But He always available to you, and He knows how far. He will never give you so much more than you can
carry. It's the best of the
He will support you.
He will never give you a burden more than you can shoulder. So that consoles. Yes, so I'm sure we'll pull through.
How are you doing, Subsidy?
Grateful to God. I'm spoilt. Yes, I'm spoilt with light, and it's so unusual not to have light. So I'm one of those that's luckily been in a side of Lagos where 24-hour power supply is norm. So over the past 2 days, we haven't had that, and it's been
confusing.
That's how I'm like wondering.
Just came to
it's so usual. I couldn't sleep. I'm like, the AC is not on. My husband is not around. So it was like, so you cannot sleep without AC. I say, I have to switch on generator. Then the noise is too much. Everybody's generator is making noise. I think even me, I was not looking at myself like, man, this is good to have all your good life. Or like, it's quick for Nigerians are easy to please, and we'll forget all the bad times, if we just get good governance. And
we'll forget.
And many of us are desirous of that. And I'm feeling for the past 2 days a glimpse of what the average Nigerian is going through, and it is not easy.
Yeah, correct that we'll forget.
And if we're also willing as citizens to do our own part, because governance is 2 ways. The government can provide infrastructure, but the people fail to do their own part of it. You are paying. You're paying people. Many people will not pay what you're paying. Yes, they can't afford it, but the point is that 2 people must agree, and then you do your own service, I play my part, and we are happy. Or if one person does one and the other person doesn't,
we are paying.
We are paying.
Because if you don't pay, then we cut it, so we pay.
But what you said, there's a part of what you said that is very correct, especially on the roads. So yesterday, I deliberately, anytime I'm seeing my mom over the weekend, I go on public transport just to experience what the past was like. And I see the way we're looking at the things that they've just done and we're spoiling them again. So people want to sell their markets, they would rather break the part of the road and put something at Yanoba. The Yanoba that has suddenly just become like imagine approaching Yanoba that used to be in the 90s. 1992, all of them, and they see a bridge, and you say, and then somebody is struggling to put market there. They don't care how they put it there. They spoil it. The buses are climbing the roads,
That's where local government comes in. Because state government will do the infrastructure. Local government jobs just be going up and down, just be make sure that your people are not destroying it. Even taxes. What are those guys doing? They monitor. People should monitor because people will destroy their human beings. People take
ensure that the place is used well. Nobody should be allowed to park on the road, climb the road, manage it.
It's a new week. Let us calm down. The week is just starting. Let's not start lamenting. Let's go. Buhari is coming to Lagos. So let's be in a good behavior. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with the nation. Millions of Nigerians can't be wrong. Okay, I'm reading the Kogi governor, my support for Tinubu is unshaken. Buhari to inaugurate deep sea port rice mill in Lagos. Interest rate likely to go up as MPC meeting begins. Okay, which story?
The other one you wanted to take. What's wrong with taking? It's there.
No, she was a
Oh, okay.
Buhari
Buhari will be visiting. President Muhammadu Buhari will today be leading the APC presidential campaign team rally in Bauchi.
Okay.
And after that will hold between 8:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. After which he would arrive Lagos for a 2-day working visit to, of course, accompany to inaugurate several projects in Lagos, starting with the Lekki Deep Sea Port, the Imota rice mill, and there's a 32 metric tons per hour rice mill in Lagos. We will inaugurate the newly constructed 6-lane rigid pavement Eleko Junction to Ekpe, and also
John Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History.
And also the MRS Lubricant Factory in Apapa. And finally, at our area of Lagos, the Lagos Blue Line Rail project in If you pass Orile this morning, you would think you're in another country. No one yellow bus at the bus stop. I fly this. I was like, okay.
If Claire Buhari is coming, the president is coming.
Clear the things out.
I wanted the ladies to come, but we didn't get an invite, so we'll be hearing it in the papers.
That's no problem. Anyway, Kogi State Governor Ihaya Bello has said that the presidential candidate of APC, that's Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, will convincingly win the elections. He said that first of all, also he was responding to a rumor that had been going around that says that he was no longer supporting the flag bearer, and he said that this is complete falsehood. He said that there was no even fire, talk less of smoke, and he's urging the INEC to look at statements like this made by media, false news, and prosecute them. That they are trying to derail the APC support. What they are doing is even highlighting Asiwaju even more. And he goes ahead to say that for them in the north, Tinubu has their full support. He says my unwavering support is for Tinubu, and the Shetima 2023 is 100% undiluted. And that they in the north, they have fidelity, they do not promise and fail, they don't deceive, and they're sure. He said yes, he wanted a ticket, but God gave it to Asiwaju, and since then he's just watched him and he's learning from him, and he believes that Nigeria will be better for it if he becomes president.
I want to take the monetary policy. They said the interest rate is likely to go up. This would be the 5th consecutive increase from 7 monetary policy committee meetings. There's going to be a 2-day meeting. I believe the 289th meeting and the first fiscal meeting for this year. And the conversation is going to be around the likelihood of increasing the interest rate. If we recall, the last time the interest rate was increased was November by 100 points to 16.5%. So analysts are assuming that maybe the CBN and the stakeholders are looking at it that the interest rate has been profitable in terms of its effect on the economy, and they want to do a marginal increase again. They're saying it's not going to be, it will be a dovish, slow hike in interest rates. They are taking into cognizance the fact that we have fuel crisis, we have a cashless, aggressive cashless policy and change of Naira notes, which means that a lot of money is being deposited in the bank, but there's likely going to be maybe a 50-point increase in interest rates.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. Banks battle new Naira shortage ahead deadline. Passengers stranded in forest as Warri Takbe train derails. MK Abiola's wife sues Inspector General, demands 100 billion Naira. If terror spreads to Lagos, NCDC monitors Osun and Yobe states. Chatham House pilgrimage, Nigerian politicians seek relevance in foreign land. PSC asks federal government to stop 10,000 constables' salaries. Petrol may hit 800 Naira to the litre on subsidy removal, says marketers. Interest rate hike likely as MPC meets today. And sacked UI female lecturer petitions Senate, VC summoned. Okay, let me take the MK Abiola's wife's story. So, Professor Zainab Abiola, the wife of the winner of the 1999 presidential election, MK Abiola, has dragged the Nigerian Police, Inspector General Police, to the Federal High Court for alleged defamation. According to her, she was framed September 20, 2022 by one Ibrahim Alkali, that's the adopted son of the Inspector General, that she had inflicted injury on her former orderly Inspector Moses. And she said that this has caused damage to her reputation and her person. According to her, Ibrahim Alkali had conspired with her ex-orderly to lie that she inflicted bodily harm on her. He also, according to her, she has CCTV cameras around that would reveal what happened when the proceedings commenced, and that because of that, she's demanding 100 billion naira for defamation of character and her person. So
remember that video? Yes. So she's claiming that video was a setup.
Yes, that's what she's saying. That the cameras
very interesting to
see how that happens.
See how this unravels.
Major headline: the banks, between 1 week away from. 10 days, 1 week away, according to the papers, from the deadline concerning the central bank stopping the old notes. That's the 1,000 Naira note, 500 Naira note, and 200 Naira notes will no longer be in tender. 200 is part of it.
Oh, sugar.
Yes, 200 is part of it. And so the news is Punch went around ATMs within Lagos State. They specified that most of the ATMs we visited were still dispensing old Naira notes. They said they also went to Abuja. A few ATMs in Abuja were dispensing new notes, but most of them old notes. They went to Osogbo in Osun State and they visited a few banks, and they realized that no bank was dispensing the new notes. Many of the banks, in order to avoid being the CBN sanction, are not even dispensing at all. The POS machines that Nigerians now have to rely on are saying they don't have access to new notes. So Osogbo Osun State is largely still giving out old notes. Abeokuta too, in Ogun State, they are still dispensing old notes. So what generally the Punch is highlighting is customers are demanding extensions. The president of Bank Customer Association of Nigeria, Dr. Uju Ogumbuka, said that there will be need for the CBN to extend the deadline, that it seems that we don't have enough, and if you don't have enough, what do you expect to be done within the date of the deadline? And I think the CBN government should be responsive to the realities on ground.
I don't think it's going to be possible, because even the lines at the ATM machine just even withdraw, because now that we can't even do cashless, sending more people to be extended.
I have Petroleum may hit 800.
Okay, let me go in a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest. Because, ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We'll not give you the time. Because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
About neuroplasticity.
And based on...
He asked a question that was subjective about high life. And he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, my day.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Shion Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is this show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw caution to
We
the
have
wind
no
right
morals here.
On the 7 of 7.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
It's not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting...
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I
they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
Resentment from
on
who?
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Man, just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it or not, but if I find out,
When they're nice divorcees.
I would just
What
be...
if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll just drop my resignation letter. No.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Yes,
I was
ma'am had a
saying
story.
that the scarcity of PMS, that's petrol. Of course, we know that's what we're all speaking of, but he's saying that oil marketers are saying that if federal government goes ahead to take away the subsidy, Nigerians should be kept abreast, of what it will mean, before government finally goes ahead to do that. He says because the prices may get as high as 800 naira per litre, and Nigerians need to be aware. It says as advisable as it is, since we've always known that federal government can no longer carry that burden, and we also know that NNPCL is the major only importer of PMS. It's important that Nigerians know that this is what it will cause. And also they say that government, before they take away subsidy, need to make sure that every appropriate measure is put in place, infrastructure, and also the supply of petroleum products. They say that many times marketers are blamed, but the truth is there's scarcity from the supply end. It's not like there's any fake scarcity that has been, there is no petrol, and that they are business people. Why would they want to keep petrol? After all, they want to just make profit. But that even from source, we're not getting enough to meet our demands. Then you say everybody keeps singing about the Dangote Refinery coming along. That we should also remember there's a private-owned company. Second, it says most of the pipelines run to other neighboring countries, that maybe there's just one pipeline that runs through Nigeria. So to just explain it, like it's not really going to feed our own demand. It's not built in such a way that it necessarily feeds Nigerians' demand alone, or even as the priority. And so the Nigerians need to be aware that this is what will consequently happen from the removal of subsidy. Okay, so another sad one, the Senate has summoned the VC of University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adebowale, over what they call an alleged assault, conspiracy, and victimization of a female lecturer, Dr. Adenike Ogushe, of the Department of Microbiology. And the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Relations, as through their spokesperson, chairman, summoned the VC to come and explain to them why a court judgment reinstating this sacked lecturer is not being obeyed by the University of Ibadan. Sad, of course, is that, somebody has already gone to court, and an institution of learning that should be establishing, the culture of rule of law amongst its students is refusing to obey that court order. The Senate Committee has summoned the VC to come and explain to it why it's not being obeyed and why it is victimizing the female lecturer, who has petitioned that 7 years after she was sacked and after she got a court judgment reinstating her, the VC, the registrar of the university, have refused to reinstate her. And when they contacted the PRO of the university, she refused to address the matter on phone. According to her, she said, I cannot respond to, I cannot comment on Dr. Ogushe's case on telephone. Whether or not they can, on telephone or physically, let us know exactly why an institution of learning, because learning is how cultures are established, will refuse to follow a court order. She got judgment reinstating her. Obey the judgment already. Another issue of court order is between the Police Service Commission and the Nigerian Police Force concerning recruitment. The Police Service Commission has written a letter to the Accountant General of the Federation to halt the capture of 10,000 constables who recently graduated from the Police Training College, and they shouldn't be integrated into the IPPS platform. The conversation was because they've already gotten a court injunction that the Police Service Commission, that they are the ones going to recruit, but even though the court had given power to them to recruit, according to the Police Act 2020, that recruiting should be done by the Police Service Commission, vetting should be done by them. The NPF has gone to the court to appeal at September 2020, and they haven't. The commission had the mandate to recruit constable. The Nigerian Police Force has gone ahead to still be recruiting constables. So in 2020 they recruited 10,000. 2021 they recruited another 10,000 under the administration, the IG then, Musiliu Smith, who resigned in September 2022, and now all those 20,000 don't have a letter of employment from the Police Service Commission. So now the Police Service Commission has said that they should stop paying those people's salary, and they shouldn't put any other person on salary unless they have letters of employment from the Police Service Commission. While the Police Service Commission is trying to resolve its issues with the Nigerian Police Force, there will be about 20,000 to 30,000 people who have gone through training who will now be wondering where they stand and if their salary will be coming through next month.
Okay, let's move on quickly to Daily Sun. Aftermath of APC media team attacks. Fuel scarcity bites harder as marketers abandon cargoes over new charges. Redesigned Naira, banks fret as CBN widens sting operations. Presidential election, Northern governors and I solidly behind Tinubu, says Governor Bello. Diphtheria deaths hit 34 as Kano registers 100 infections. 300 passengers stranded as train derails in Kogi forest. Okay, I was going to take the train. Okay. So about 300 passengers were stranded in Kogi amid public fears of their safety and security. We're happy that all 300 were safely rescued. What happened, according to us, was the train was departing from Warri Takpe, and was reportedly delayed somewhere about 20 kilometers into the journey. According to sources, I think it was the NSCDC were able to send in the vehicle to pick up and to rescue all the passengers who were stranded. And also the community vigilante were immediately also drafted to the accident point to assist the local government and the chairman to help rescue all passengers. It was actually 148 passengers, 30 crew members were evacuated to safety, and they also conveyed to their various destinations. So that's a good thing. We're not really sure exactly what caused the derailment, but various reports, unconfirmed reports, are saying that possibly people actually removed tracks. We can't confirm the story, but this is part of the problem we're seeing of infrastructure. So government does one part of providing infrastructure, and people possibly sometimes steal some of these tracks for their own personal use.
So but this is the same train that was attacked at Igwebe, and 20 passengers kidnapped. If their route needs security and opening up, because in the story itself it's still saying thick forest between the states that is traveling to all the way to Itakpe, they should open up those communities by building, creating housing, creating institutions around that place to reduce the isolation that would encourage criminality.
Okay. Let's
diphtheria in Kano State. I took it last week, and when we took it, it was like this was just happening in Lagos, in Kano. But now there are cases that have been reported in Lagos, in Yobe, and Osun states as well. But they say that in Kano, they've identified about 100 cases. That's increasing from 25 to 100 cases in just 2 weeks. There's also another report of someone dying from it. Diphtheria is defined, maybe a lot of us don't know, but many of us have had children. We do the DPT vaccines. So the spread is largely affected by maybe low vaccination. Some of these populations are not getting the proper vaccines, or they're not getting vaccines at all. And so there's that transmission of this bacteria. It says diphtheria is defined as an acute toxic infection caused by Corybacterium species. It's transmitted from person to person through respiratory droplets. And then some of the symptoms are severe to mild fever, cough, sore throat, neck swelling, difficulty in breathing, and then complications can include damage to the heart, kidney, and bleeding, with death in up to 21% of cases. So it's a serious thing, and for those who are not yet vaccinated, it's important that we vaccinate our children, and the government needs to do better in reaching this far to rich communities.
Yeah. The point, no alternative to Tinubu, Yahaya Bello insists. Insecurity stakeholders warn against state of emergency in Southeast. Scarcity of Naira creates panic in Forex market as manufacturers orders just for dollar. Can Wike G5 stop Article 6 run for president? Amotekun Court filled with dishonorable men, says Amitolu Shitu. Okay. Let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. Afenifere to politicians, stop verbal physical violence. Customs on high alert to intercept military camouflage ammunition, says spokesperson. Ondo, Edo, Bauchi states account for 84% of Lassa fever cases. Methodist Church enthrones first female bishop in Nigeria. Warri Takpe train derails in Kogi forest. PVC collection, Ondo, Ogun, Abia declare work-free days. Alpha Beta, PDP asked for FTT to provide updates. Kogi governor has not withdrawn support for Tinubu. He has mobilized 95% of Kogi votes, says APC. And redesigned Refinery, CBN launches cash swap program for rural dwellers. Okay,
Afenifere has decided to address all political parties according to the National Publicity Secretary, Comrade Jare Ajayi, they have charged political parties and their candidates to focus on the ways they intend to attend to the challenges facing the country rather than resorting to the utterances back and forth between each other in the form of verbal and physical attacks. So they addressed the spokesperson of the PCC, of the APC, Festus Keyamo. They also addressed Debo Ologun Nogba, who is also the spokesperson for the PDP, saying that both parties continue to put their candidates in warfare and verbal attacks back and forth. Then they addressed the video circulating of, a group attacking a man who was wearing a shirt with the Labour Party candidates on his way from the east, and they shot all his tires. And they're just saying that we should focus on what is most important at this time, which is not either of us, but the issues bedeviling the country, and not attacking each other.
Okay, that is all we can take on Front Page Review. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we want our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Nigeria needs focused leadership to take decisive action to end insecurity, reposition our economy for businesses to thrive, and restore total peace in the land. Tinubu is the right man for the job. Through innovation and technology, he will reposition Nigeria for businesses to thrive. Nigeria will export more and import less. Tinubu will reposition the agricultural sector for food security and improve farmers' welfare. Electricity will be reformed for a brighter Nigeria. Health, education, and housing will be more accessible and affordable. Nigeria will be transformed into an entertainment powerhouse, a home of sporting achievement, and a renowned tourist destination. Tinubu's government will build a Nigeria where we prosper together. He has done it before, and he will do it again for Nigeria.
For renewed hope 2023, vote Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima as President and Vice President of Nigeria. Vote APC.
Looking fresh for your dates? Get even fresher with Close Up. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh. Protected and fresh. Protected and fresh. Let's take a picture. Protected and fresh. Still fresh, still protected. Feeling cool and protected. All day confidence to get close. Oh, yeah, take it close. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula.
Good morning.
Good morning. Why is your sun shining like this?
Can't you see that Harmattan season is here? We need to protect our children from this dry weather.
What about the invisible germs?
Invisible germs?
During Harmattan, it's not enough to only protect your skin. You also need protection from these invisible germs. To protect our families, we use Dettol.
Harmattan season brings a lot of germs, but Dettol with Germ Defense gives protection from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
Helen Paul! Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning.
Wow! Now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
The next house is yours.
There are days when you think, oh more, I don't try. Order a Glovo. Days when plans run longer. What if we order a Glovo? Or days when you can't control everything. Oh yes, because on Glovo you can order anything you want. Glovo, you order, we deliver.
Every day, life presents hopes, dreams, and challenges. Challenges that can become successes with a little help. Because a little help can empower you to go from despair to celebration.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple award-winning actor, producer, ambassador of Edo People, we have Etinosa Idemudia in the building.
Don't be first to go police station, they win the case.
So
you are showing yourself.
I go say that's my second question.
You are feeling like a contact the prancing peacock. I'm about to cut your wings. Hello. Now, in the amalgamation of 1914, who was the woman who said
Who drew the line of the amalgamation? They, who cut the report? Who is the person that used scissors? What is his name?
That woman.
You have done me dirty. I've marked your face. I've marked your face. If anything happened to me today,
I don't
if I don't reach my house. Anyway, I'm gonna be chauffeured, so.
You remember now, Abby? Yeah, but you never too thin. Now you remember.
Hey.
If a person who indulges habitually in watching a sexual material is called a voyeur.
That's what they're called.
You clearly say you don't go even get the next one.
Hey, a voyeur.
Voyeur.
Then go on.
What is a person who makes one?
A voyeur. A voyagist. A bon voyage.
In Saturday and Sunday, the queues had reduced. I'm not sure it's because Buhari is coming to town. I'm not sure, but we'll find out how it is across the country. I'd like to hear from viewers across the country. But the queues are there, and we even read in the papers. You read earlier, the people, the IPMA saying that there's actually an issue with the supply. So we'll try to find out the real problems. Joining us now on the show is the chairman of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, the Western Zone, Mr. Dele Tajudeen. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you, because we read an article this morning that was saying that IPMAN was saying specifically that the government is misleading Nigerians, that the actual problem is supply. Could you give us a real graphical illustration of where the problem is? Because on this show we try to break things down so Nigerians can understand. We don't want to have the fluffy conversations. So I need you to, from start to finish, one of the issues IPMAN has highlighted is that Nigeria is still the sole importer. Why is this a problem? NNPC is still the sole importer. Why is it a problem? Because we thought that once it gets to the mothership, every other person is able to get it and then distribute. What is the problem exactly from start to finish?
Okay. Good morning, viewers. And good morning to every Nigerians. Well, no doubt about it that in the last 2 months or thereabout, we have witnessed scarcity of petroleum product, especially PMS, which is premium motor spirit. Well, you will agree with me in totality that in economics, when something is scarce, it means it's not available. So we don't need to overflog the issue that there is short supply. That's the current situation. But however, my own main concern is that when there's a problem, we need to provide solution to it, because it affects every facet of life. We marketers, the average Nigerians, even the rich people, everybody suffers. We have seen people queuing up, sleeping in filling station. We are not supposed to have that in Nigeria as an oil producing country. So the problem is such supply. But my own view about it is that what do we do when there's a problem? Well, there should be an immediate short-term and long-term solution to it. My own view about immediate solution is not that NNPC doesn't have at all, but I think they have separated, or of course they have gone limited, and there's trading, NNPC trading and NNPC retail. The trading deals with large volumes, like importation of petroleum products. Then retail is about the outlets. So, like I said, there is such supply, but the immediate solution that I'm speaking about is that, one, whatever quantity NNPC have, like we used to do before when there's scarcity, let us work 24 hours. Okay. That is, trucking out in 24 hours, including Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay.
Because you see a situation whereby they don't work on Saturday, they don't work on Sunday. If they had work on Saturday and Sundays, I mean, we will have a little bit of relief today being
Let me cut you in for a second.
Let me understand you, sir. So you're saying that we have shortages because NNPC has sort of separated whatever they have into two. And what is supposed to come to us, where they put it in for the trucks and then send to Nigerians to meet our demand, is not giving, when they're not giving as much, even though they still have some in their, they still have some in storage. Yeah. That's what you're saying. So it's not a matter of funds. It's not that NNPC is unable to afford to buy enough to meet our demands. It's that they have put some aside. And yes.
No. I cannot speak for government whether they have enough money to import. I don't know what the logistic problem should have been, but everybody knows that because of this fight in Ukraine and the rest, the cost of petroleum products has been very high all over the world. Mm-hmm. But whatever the circumstances, I cannot speak for government because I don't know whether they have.
Because we wanted to be sure we understood you. Mm-hmm. What I thought I heard you say, supply, meaning that what comes from abroad is there's a short supply. It's not our own fault. And again, the crude is also expensive because of the war that's going on across the world. So what we get, what comes to the mother ship is short supply. That's what you're saying.
Definitely. I've said it that economically, if any product is available, I mean, you won't witness what we are witnessing now.
But I thought I also heard you say that the NNPC has some in reserve that, would have come in handy at this time to abate the queues that we're having.
No, what I'm saying is that it's not as if they don't have at all. Mm-hmm. Are you getting my point? Yes. But I'm talking about immediate solution that if we can work 24 hours in trucking out, I'm still coming to some of the logistic problems that we have. Okay. Because even in some situation where the product is available in the depot, the access to the depot has been very difficult. And that comes to discipline among the stakeholders, not limited to Lumpeng. Because
but why now?
When you have product in a depot and the whole place is blocked, the truck doesn't even have access into the depot. This is some of the logistic problem that we are having, especially in Lagos today, that maybe all the stakeholders, the marketers, the Nupeng, even the Lagos State Government Transport Department has to look at the product that is available. Let trucks have access to it. Because the turnaround time for loading now is very high.
So I took the story about turnaround time, and the conversation we were expecting to have is a conversation turning towards this. These are the people causing the problems. These are the ways we can solve the problem. But the story I took said that normally if you want to, a trip that will take you 1 day is taking you 3 days. And I remember saying that if you're trying to load, sometimes it takes you 3 days to load. So those issues are not, we've been hearing indiscipline is not today. Is it that the scarcity is compounding the problem? Is it that your agents, your body has sent information to NNPC, to the police, to try and open up the bottlenecks there? What have you done to increase the flow of PMS to the average Nigerian, and what were the bottlenecks you faced in trying to resolve those issues?
That's exactly what I'm saying, because I've said it here that the immediate solution, because I'm bringing out my view, that is the immediate solution as a key player in the industry.
Okay.
One of the immediate solutions
on Saturday and Sunday
is to work on Saturdays and Sundays, and also the stakeholders have to meet and work towards the free flow so that we can access even the available products. That is the immediate solution as far as I am concerned in my home field. Then
we'll talk about the long-term solutions. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest. Because, ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We'll not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No,
neuroplasticity.
And based on
he asked a question that was subjective about high life, and he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, Made.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Sheon Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is this show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw caution to
we
the
have
wind
no
right
morals here.
On the 7 of 7. The 7 OJ severity hands to 9th on the social experiments called the 7 of 7. It's Owen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Benga Dainka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's not.
Thanks for staying with us. So Nima had a question for our guest before the break.
So I heard, he's talked about collaborating between all the agencies, government, and all the practitioners within this sector. But then again, NUPENG makes it seem as if they don't lift crude petroleum products from depots in Lagos, heaven will fall. Are there no alternatives anywhere? Because the road in question is presently under construction. That's the Mara Road in Ejegu Satellite Town. They insist on moving on that road. They continue to slow down the progress of the construction. And while in another crisis, they have already queued up to assess the same road that they are trying to complete. Once it's complete, lifting up products are now in and out to be easy. Give them that break and utilize other depots outside, or are there no other options for them outside?
Okay, well, let me be frank with you. It's not the problem of no paying. In Ijegun that we are talking about, we have concentration of tank farms there, precisely about 13 tank farms. And these tank farms receive products and it must be dispensed. So I think what is happening in that axis now is that, well, the road construction is ongoing. Why? We also have to lift product. So you have to give time. At times, the road workers to stop, allow the truck to go in. While the road construction is going on again, after loading maybe in the night, they will now release the products to go out. So it has to go home pari passu because we can't close that axis. It's a major axis that supplies product.
I believe that will even affect the quality of the road at the end of the day. I live there. I see the activities there. I think give a moratorium of lifting for 3 months. Finish, work will finish, and then you have a free, clear road. So they will pass them on one side of the road. We residents, school children are forced to manage bad sides of the road. They queue there all day. There's no lift up and stop within 24 hours. If Nupeng takes over the roads, they take over the express for weeks. It happened in December. They don't lift up and leave. They take over everywhere. So give a moratorium of a period of 3 months max, and I'm sure that road will be done.
Well, like I said, we have concentration of tank farms. There are 13. In fact, that axis has the highest number of tank farms. And these tank farms are being owned by individual people, companies.
So let me ask this question. Petrol prices now vary, and it's as if it is as the spirit is leading the owner of the filling station that is putting the price. We know now. We read in the paper that officially the price is going to change to 185 or 86 naira by April, but it has taken effect in all filling stations. In a few filling stations, while others are selling for 250, some are selling for 300, some are selling for 200. Like the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, what exactly is informing the prices that we see across different filling stations?
Good. You have talked about alternative depot. Before this time in Southwest, we have 5 government depots. We have one in Ilorin, one in Ibadan, one in Muslim, Shagamu, Ogun State, one in Satellite Depot, and another one in Ore. All those depots are now working as I speak with you over a year now. Government has a responsibility, while we citizens also have a responsibility. And I must confess to you that issue of vandalization has forced NMPs to take product to that.
Sure.
So what I'm saying in essence is that even we citizens, because it is economic sabotage for anybody to go and vandalize, we have had a situation whereby NMPs will take about 10 million liters and hardly they will get 6 million liters, a loss of 4 million liters. And NMPs has gone limited now. There is got to be 1 liter per 1 liter. But however, I still want to challenge the government that they have all apparatus to monitor the pipeline. So they should do something about it. If we have had the depots working, somebody from Ilorin will not come to Lagos to come and load products. Marketers from Ore will not have reason to come to Lagos. Ibadan will not have reason to come to Lagos.
They are all coming to Lagos now.
Everybody, even from all parts of the country, from the north, from the east, and everybody. That's why we have the problems in Lagos.
Let me take this caller. Good morning, Hassan. Hassan, good morning. Are you there?
Good morning, everybody.
You're live.
This is a national issue, and all of us wear the shoes. The real issue is this. The chairman of IPMAN, Mr. Subsidy, with due respect, you are not telling us the truth. And you are not fair to the federal government in Nigeria. Because right from day one, when we go down history, you are referring to our problem as problem of Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine and Russia are not the sole refiners of petroleum products in the world. We have Rotterdam, we have India, We have many countries. The federal government has been trying to import where you people are duty and teaching federal government to increase the price. Recently, not 2-3 days ago, it was you accused the federal government to increase it to 185 naira. The marketers, they are not imported. You force the federal government to be importing, and after importing, you are now frustrating federal government from distribution because you hold the distribution chain. That is the reality of it. So Nigerian people should begin to look in the direction of distributors as the number one enemy of Nigeria. Good morning.
Okay. So that's another angle. So
you see, maybe the man doesn't understand me. I'm talking about immediate solution. I'm talking about what can we do
now.
What's
your long-term solution?
Are you getting my point? Okay. The long-term solution, the PIA bill has addressed that.
Okay.
One, long-term solution, government has to do everything humanly possible to ensure the 4 refineries in Nigeria are working. Because if the refineries are working, you won't have any cause to go overseas and import. You know the impact on our naira when you import products.
When was the last time all 4 refinery worked?
2. Dangote refinery is coming up. And other modular refinery has to be approved. But we must not run away from the fact that the regulation has to be done, because it is no more feasible. It's like we are postponing the if we did. That's the truth.
Let me go back to what Hassan just alleged. So in December, the DSS had to be called in to bring force IPMAN members to sell price at the regulated price. What exactly was IPMAN's interest in not selling at the time? And you know how? Why did they have to? Because immediately the DSS issue came in, there was an obedience of the regulation for a few days before it went back again.
Maybe just
what
to
exactly
add to it, why the insistence on raising the price as he alleged?
Okay. On this TVC, when we noticed this scarcity coming, I was live here when I told the whole country that what we are buying is above the normal price, and so therefore we cannot sell at government regulated price. Okay. It is either we stop selling, because if government has regulated the price and we as independent, because we don't have a tank farm of our own, we rely solely on government, and that product is not forthcoming. So I said it here, point and clear, that it is either what we buy is what we sell, or we close our stations. So IPMAN is not taking advantage. As a matter of fact, what we are buying, in fact, we need to look for extra money, and even the profit we make now is not in correspondence with what the capital we employ.
I'm getting a little confused. NNPC
Don't be confident.
NNPC is the sole importer, and you buy from NNPC?
No, we are not. We are not getting from NNPC.
Okay.
We get from
private
depots.
But NNPC is the sole importer.
Yes,
they sell to private depots, then you buy from private depots. Now, please, sorry, Morayo. There's a conversation that when they remove they remove subsidy, the price will go to 800. It will go to 400. Some people will buy for 1,000. Please, what is the realistic pricing that this petrol would go to if they actually remove subsidy?
Well, removal of subsidy, like I've said, it is no two way about it. But there's fluctuation of crude oil prices. But as of today, I think it's about $87 thereabout. And going by what the landing costs now is about 400. That is the landing cost. But I want to assure you that once they allow so many players in the industry, because it's like a monopoly now, when you allow so many players in the industry, definitely the price will come down. So, and of course, if we are able to refine in the country, the price of bringing it in and out, the insurance, all other prices.
I don't understand when you say pricing or bringing many players, because I get confused. Right now, when you have an NPC you're bringing in, so we say you should have multiple people that can import, because people can actually source for affordable petrol across.
They changed it because of
but then we should, because I remember the West
Don't get me right. When you import a product, definitely you are going to incur some expenses.
Absolutely.
That is, you are taking your crude oil, you are going to transport, you are going to do good in transit, and some other logistics, even the cost of refining that product. And that product is still coming back to Nigeria. You know, it's two-way. Right. What I'm saying in essence is that if we refine Nigeria, all those costs will be out of it.
That's a given. Because I try to, as I said, I try to let this show be so simplistic so Nigerians get it. So, for example, hair. These things are not made in Nigeria, for example. So if one person, if Mariam is the only person that is allowed to bring in hair from all over the world to Nigeria, every person goes to Mariam to buy the hair. Now, when you now buy the hair, you can wig it, you can color it however it is, you decide the price. But our government says, no, we will determine the pricing. My question, therefore, is, should we have multiple Mariams bringing it and sourcing it from all over the world so that we can now be competitive? Or do we ensure that even if we buy it from Mariam, the competition now is between us that are buying from Mariam? Let's be clear where you want the competition to come. That's the one.
No. I've said it that there will be so many key players. The PIA bill has addressed that. It's not supposed to be sold solely by government. It's supposed to be multiple.
That's what we fought against, and we brought it to this. I remember in this country, I was in this country
where we were having different collecting contracts to import, and we could do ascertain what they were doing.
Exactly, and the government should handle it.
That was the reason. You see, because people were swindling government of that subsidy. That was why government took that decision. But now that we have PIB, like I said, go and read it very well. It has addressed all these things. Let there be so much key players in the industry. If Mariam has money, you have money, or you have money, go and bring the product. It will be competitive. So once, in an economy, once you put out monopoly, naturally the price will go down. Like that of MTN and the rest that are not competitive.
But I have a question. So these private depots that get from NNPC, would you say they are the ones taking advantage of giving us different prices? Because if NNPC is giving it to them and you're supposed to get it from them and still sell at a government-regulated price, where is the discrepancy happening? Are they not following government directive, or they're supposed to sell it to you people at any price that they want?
Well, that is between them and government, but I want to speak for HIPMA here. And you can do your investigation anywhere. Is what the price we get is what we sell. So that has to do with the government, those who import it, and the regulatory agencies.
What's the difference between the prices that major oil marketers are getting from what independent oil marketers are getting? Because they get to sell at a price better.
No, because you see, the major marketers, they already have their tank farms, and they get, I've told you that there's trading and there's retailing. So they get their product from the trading, that is in bulk. Like they can get 30,000 metric tons en block, and they have it at that government price. But we don't have. That's why we have said it in the independent market that give us a level playing ground, we will be able to compete it with anybody. But we don't have that level playing ground.
Okay, so I remember very clearly that, was it in October, when they told us that Port Harcourt Refinery will be ready by December. Can you confirm if it has been refitted? Because I was told that 60,000 barrels per day was its capacity, and that by December 2022, it will be functional, hopefully to reduce the importation. Do you know if this is true?
I'm not in position to say that. I don't have knowledge of that. I think the right people to ask is the NNPC, the level at which they have gone about.
Let me go on a break. When you come back, I'd like to take some phone calls. If you're living across the country, tell us your petrol experience, accessibility, how much you're buying it at the petrol stations. Let me know. We're going to go when we come back. We'll just continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
How important is comfort to you?
Ladies and gentlemen, who can make time stand still forever? Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known it as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be,
yeah. I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
You don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
Have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still trying to get a better understanding of the issues concerning the PMS scarcity that we're experiencing in Nigeria. You can still call our numbers on 081-270-5 53687091390766948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So as I said earlier, it's a no-brainer that once we have all the refineries working, once we have the depots functional, we won't have this problem again. And that's why you said there are mid-term solutions and there are long-term solutions.
Exactly.
And these mid-term solutions of trucks working around the clock, why is that a difficult task to achieve? Especially now that we're having issues with scarcity. Shouldn't you think it is almost a given that most of these trucks should be working around the clock? Why something has to be discussed and agreed and deliberated upon?
You see, that's why we are human beings. When, like I said, when there's a problem, the stakeholders need to sit down and discuss the immediate, like I've said.
There's too much sitting there. Maybe somebody needs to get fired.
No. You see,
business?
The tank farms is being owned by individual companies, and while some are being owned by governments. But we as marketers, we don't have that powers to force people, but government can do. So I am advising government today that they should look at that let us do work round the clock and let us work on Saturdays and Sunday. That will definitely help the situation.
I think we can't speak for them, but I'm wondering if trucks work 24/7. Are they considering security? Could that be a reason? Are they considering security? Are they considering the fact that these trucks will be on our roads morning and night while regular commuters are going up and down? Could that be a consideration?
But this same government is asking us to speak about PVCs. They now made it Saturday and Sunday. They even said
they're not driving it. The truck is different from.
I know. I agree with you. I'm just saying that if the same government can make decisions for PVC, PVC is so important to them. They said that even when we work 3 days in certain places, just for you to go and get your PVC, this also should be crucial. For the government, safety issues that Maya as if it could be.
Well, maybe somebody has not thought along the line, along that line, but I'm saying it as immediate, one of the immediate solutions.
Okay, we have to wrap up on this, yes, but do you have any comments on social media?
Yes, cool DJ Funky Flex says, I bought PMS yesterday in Port Harcourt, River State at 300 naira per liter. And then Emmanuel says, with Dangote Refinery, see Dangote like people. With Dangote Refinery coming on stream soon, government is working with the business mogul to set a suitable entry price for him. Be rest assured that if subsidy is removed, price will hover around 500 naira regardless, and there won't be any meaningful infrastructural development.
Okay, I have a caller. Super, are you there? Okay, we lost the call. Yes, any other comments?
He says, I doubt that many people have pondered on what buying fuel at 800 naira will do to this economy and the consequences for our people. Emperor Lasbon says, how can the whole nation be coming to Lagos to load PMS and other products? Why not make all other depots functional? Which is
but we also have now Nigerians were vandalizing the pipelines.
No, we understand vandalism, secure the pipelines, and
okay, we have to wrap on this. But thank you so much, sir. I like your final words. As I mean, we've had the opportunity to have this conversation. But what are your final words to Nigerians and to the government on how we can actually help each other to move this forward?
Okay, the government has a responsibility, while we citizens also have a responsibility. For those who engage in vandalism, I want to appeal to them that this country belongs to all of us. And I also want to advise the people within the area that we should take every government property as our own. Because vandalization is not just an easy thing to do. It's a truck will go in. So government agencies, like the police and the rest, the civil defense, they should be up to the task. So because if that is resolved, we will have solved 50% of our problems. Then for government, the PIA bill has been there for more than 8 years. And it has not been fully implemented. So I want to advise that it has to be implemented so that they allow so many players in the industry. I want to assure the nation that once you have so many players in the industry, it's not being done by government alone.
But do you sense an insincerity on the part of government, especially because this PIB has been on the table forever? So are there elements within the government that doesn't want this thing to pull through, do you think?
Well, I wouldn't know that, but I've said it several times in this house that PIA bill has to be implemented. it has taken too long to come into reality. So something has to be done about that PIA bill so that all of us can see it. We deliberated on it. We have spent taxpayer money to work over that. So it has to be implemented. So once it is done and there's full deregulation, I can assure you, because this product we are talking about, even at the regulated price, I mean, at this price we are talking about, government still pay transportation.
Yes, they do.
To some other parts of the country, like the northern part. So it's like if you bring Malu from Maduguri, you can sell it at Lagos at whatever price you bring it. You can sell at Ibadan for whatever price, and you can sell at Ilorin at whatever price you buy it, so that government will just remove their hand in the issue of pricing.
Okay, that's all we can take on this segment. We're going to go on a break. Thank you, sir, for joining us. It was a pleasure learning a few things from you. When we come back, we'll continue with our show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
This is 7 of 7. My name is OJ, and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7 is Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name? You see, I want to make them better now.
Rock Heart.
No, of the goats when they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
He didn't get it. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started.
Ask questions and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you people can just be on Petroleum Bridge on a bike and the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change the scenario for, like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner like the film you were mentioning?
No, like finding your
or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just they run for treadmill.
Or you not a joke.
I'll tell you, you'll lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person, you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys.
Thanks for staying with us. On this segment, we will be looking at Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's plans for the Nigerian youth. Joining us on the show to do this is Dr. Nicholas Felix. He's a Deputy National Youth Coordinator for the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC. He'll be telling us what APC presidential candidate has in store for the youths, the lofty plans and innovation documented, and the manifesto for the youth population. He was also the 2023 youngest presidential aspirant of the APC, and he's from Edo State. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
You can join the conversation on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So, I know you're a politician and you're working with the flag bearer of the APC. Nigerians are asking, what does your principal have in plan for young people? You know, we have over 70% of the population and there are lots of youths out there. Yes, there have been quite a lot of innovation to help bring youth into the job market. Well, what more would Asiwaju do if he becomes president?
Once again, thank you for having me. Good to be here with you guys. If you look at the manifesto, I think page 59, it's quite detailed what Asiwaju is going to do for the Nigerian youth. First of all, let me speak on the political side. He has promised that he's going to give 3 cabinet positions to youth under 40 and 6 more to youth under 50. That's already 9. This is the first time we're hearing and have, something like this. I can't remember any administration where we have youth as ministers, where we have youth in the administration. So for me, this is very huge. This is very big. And this is one of the reasons I actually contested for president, especially when the fee came out, it was quite high. We needed a youth representation. And to hear our candidates promise to support the youth in this regard, I think is very, very, it's exciting to us as youth. And also, in the entrepreneurship side of it, if you look at, everybody's not going to be a politician. Everybody will not get the ministerial position, as it were. But there are policies he has proposed. There are things he wants to do to enable the youth to be able to get loans. These days, if as a youth you want to get loan, I'm sure they're going to ask you for your father's land, your father's property, for those who have to even give. But now he is going to have an executive order whereby youth are able to get loan from the bank operating the credit system. I've lived in America for over 19 years. I understand the way credit system works. That's how we are able to succeed. In America, you graduate, you have a little job, you're able to get a credit, you can buy a car and pay gradually. You can get a credit card, you can buy a house and pay gradually. But these systems we don't have here in Nigeria. So these are some of the things Asiwaju is promising. And I think Nigeria should be excited about it.
Let me do a follow-up to that, because I know that government always has good intentions. And I know that I think it was in Jonathan's time where they tried, is it the you win, where the intention was to help people with money. But some of them didn't repay that money. Even have it with the Buhari's administration, anchor borrowers. He give people money for farmers to be able to, and even connect them to suppliers or people who are going to buy off them. And some of them don't return the money. So it's one thing to have a great idea. It's another thing to actually get young people to use this money accordingly, to use it for what it's supposed to do. Aside from the great policy, what else do you think can be done to get young people to actually key into this and own it, such that as they give back, they're also using that to help other young people?
Like I always say, we are still on planet Earth. We are not in heaven yet. So no matter how the great plans you have, everybody who takes student loan in America don't pay. And this is why organizations like banks, government agencies, they are able to write it off on their tax as losses. So we do understand that there are side effects. You give farmers loan. It's the same thing all over the place. So I do not expect it to be different here in Nigeria. That does not mean the government should not help, because there are people who are going to benefit from it. That does not mean students should not be given student loan to be able to go to school. Now, for the youth, of course, this money is not going to be splashed all over the place. If you look at the manifesto, what he wrote was qualified youth. People who are qualified, talented youth. So this money is not you line up in the bank and you're going to get it. For people who are going to use it for the purpose of it, they are the ones who are going to qualify to get it. I think that's a great helping hand for us as youth.
So I hear Nigerian youths all the time on social media, everywhere shouting, it's the time of the youth, the time of the youth. How prepared are Nigerian youth for this time that they are claiming is the time for the youth. Do you, as a, the youngest presidential aspirant at the primaries, do you think that it's the time of the youth and we're ready if these responsibilities are given?
Of course, we're more than ready. You won't know if we're ready until you have given us the opportunity. Like I always say, our fathers are supposed to prepare the future for us and also prepare us for the future. I use a perfect example of the relay. When they are running a relay and they're about to pass out the baton. Do you know they don't call somebody from the stage? No matter how gifted you are and you're sitting down there, they don't going to call you to come. They hand over the baton to the people who are also running with them. So we are saying some of us can win elective position, but we can be appointed. Appoint us, those who are elected, and we have to be trained to be able to, take over when the time. But I think we are much ready. Some of us have succeeded in the private sectors. You have youth today who are doctors, lawyers. I'm a pastor and also a very successful businessman.
A pastor?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I own churches in America, here in Nigeria.
Churches?
Yes, we have branches all over. I'm a general overseer. If we have succeeded, build multi-million-dollar businesses, why can't we succeed in the private sector? Like I said, now, I said this sometime on channels as people were speaking against it. I believe pastor is the hardest job. Apart from a nursing mother raising a toddler, the next hardest job on earth is a pastor. If we can do it, this is a piece of cake. I think we can also do this.
Talking about what you can do is the fact that, as we mentioned, Nigeria is largely made up of a youth population. But, we're getting closer to the election and there are many voices. And this is the youth across. They have different affiliations. What is the Youth Council of APC doing to appeal and galvanize and persuade and draw in youths in Nigeria?
Yeah, the APC, we're speaking to the youth. We're speaking to those in the APC youth. We have a lot of youth in APC. The national youth leader, Dayo Israel, is doing a lot of traveling from state to state. The national coordinator of the PCC, Governor Yaya Bello, we're also organizing programs. We are speaking to the youth. We are using every avenue like this to address the youth. But this election, a lot of the candidates, all of a sudden, they have woken up that youth are important. Youth are driving the narrative in this election. And what we say to every youth out there, these are politicians. I hate to call myself I'm the unusual politician. Let me put it that way. Politicians all over the world will always tell you what they want to do. They put out all these promises. I want every youth out there to look at the antecedents of these politicians. They are telling you they are going to make youth cabinet ministers. They are saying all this. Let's focus on the man who has done it in the past. That's the key message here. Because politicians can say anything we want to hear. Let's focus who among these candidates, like I said to one, your candidate, show me one person as a young man when he was governor that he raised. Show me one person as a vice president when he was governor, even after when he was vice president, that this man has empowered to become somebody in the society. Many of them cannot point out names. Apparently, Asiwaju is the only person you can count from House of Assembly members to governors to vice president, some even say president. So much people from the south, from the north, all over, that they can point that this man helped me in one way, he empowered me, to become a governor. We have it all over. Now we are saying, if he did this, he left office, I think about 16 years ago as a governor. If he did this as a governor, imagine when he becomes president, when he has the spread all over the nation. I believe he'll be able to do more for the Nigerian youth. We are looking for somebody who will not just appoint us as SA. I say this all the time. Youth are getting angry with me. The only title they give us is to become SA. I hate that title SA because of that. Why? We're better than just becoming SAs. These guys, when they were young, in their 20s, in their 30s, they were governors, prime ministers, and they did excellently well. Why do you think now, even in this technological age, why do you think we can do more than just being SA? We need to do better than that.
Okay, sir. Let me go back to the concerns of the youth. So, our median age, considering what our median age is, considering the population of the youth, is not promising 6 cabinets position to people under 40 when the median age is 20, like it's far. The average Nigerian youth is not going to become he won't have any position in the political landscape. speaking to their real problems is that the average person graduates from school, has no guaranteed hope of getting employment, and even when there are businesses to be done, there are lots of gridlock, either the dollar crisis, one thing or the other, disturbing the young people from being able to thrive. What is in the manifesto addressing the core need of young people? Good jobs, access to education without consistent break over time.
You know, like I always say, the government cannot employ all her citizens. There's no nation on earth where the government employ all our citizens. How do we get employment? We get employment by private sectors driving the employment in the nation. And we cannot have private sector do this if the country is not safe. You know, when I was running for president, that was my number one, and I'm glad our candidate, that's his number one agenda. Until Nigeria become a safe country, we won't have investors. Seeing the kind of man that he is, a man who is very brilliant and has a vision, to be able to bring investors into our country, to be able to empower those entrepreneurs to be able to, hire people, that's the only way we can reduce unemployment. Any candidate who come and promise us 2 million jobs by the government, we know it's not true, it's not going to happen. Asiwaju is going to empower the private sectors. If you look at the calendar of our rally, while other candidates are just doing rally, he's meeting with stakeholders. He's meeting with businessmen, having private meetings with all of them. Why? He's trying to empower them, get our rich politicians, our rich businessmen who are shipping their money abroad to go and invest because of insecurity, to come back to the country. By the time we begin to do this, and also empowering the banks to be able to give loan to companies. Every youth will not get loan, but there's a company who can get a multi-billion naira loan to be able to build factory, and before you know it, be able to employ people. Look at the refinery that is going to be opening in Lagos, the Dangote refinery. Thousands of people are going to be employed. Whether you like it or not, they are going to be employed within the Lagos demography. Some may relocate to Lagos because of that. Just imagine how many of these we get from each state. That's the only way we are going to be able to reduce unemployment.
I like to hear a lot of Asiwaju stories because people have worked with him. So, for example, Fashola was here recently and he was giving us specific examples of what Asiwaju did because he had worked with Asiwaju, and he was giving us examples of the policies like LASA, like LASMA, how it's been replicated across the country in different states. What's your own Asiwaju story? What's that thing? Why are you supporting Asiwaju? What's that thing you see? Because people have sat there and given us different stories. I mean, the general, he has built leaders, he has transformed Lagos State. That's what is out there. But I would really like to hear your own personal story. What is it that you believe in this man?
You see, when I started my campaign, a lot were coming with Asiwaju. I was the youth who didn't want, if you're above 50, you should not be running for office. And I didn't even want to pay attention. I began to hear individual story. Comrade Adams Oshomole is somebody very dear to me. I'll say the best governor those state ever produced. And we sat down several times. I heard stories. I heard so much individual stories. People were convincing because after the election, I shut down. I said, I'm not supporting anybody. I'm not going to support Asiwaju, especially as a pastor. He picked a Muslim vice. This is it for me. We began to have our personal differences. I was listening to people speak, the people who don't know each other, telling me different stories. I said, okay, there's a parable in a pigeon. They say, I will cry, still they see. In as much as you are sharing tears, we can still see, we can still hear. Let me, relax and get to know what this man has to offer. I began to listen to him, Google much about him. I saw when he had to pay the WAEC school fees for all the children in Lagos State when he became governor. That got me very hard because I knew how difficult it was for me to go to school in those states. It's a long story. And I said to myself, how many governors can do this? I could just be, I was imagining when I was looking for money for WAEC, if the governor of my state had paid, probably I would have named my child after him because that was something very serious at that time. So I began to hear stories until I met him. When I sat with him, I met with him 4 times. The first 3 times, I didn't say a word. I wanted to hear him speak because I need to be convinced before I move. Right. If I'm not convinced, I'm not going to come on TV or go on my social media page and say a word. I began to hear him. The first time, he apologized to me about something because after the election, he met other candidates, and I was angry that he didn't come. Is it because I'm the youngest? Why would he not come? He said to me, oh, I'm so sorry. The manner at which he said it, I said, this is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's the presidential candidate of our party. By age, is old enough to be my father, telling me I'm sorry, and he meant it. I was like, wow, this is just like my dad, very humble. He doesn't have to. I don't know if I would tell you, if I was the one, I would have said I'm sorry. That alone got to me. I said, okay, this is the person we need to work with. Then I started asking questions. So what are your intentions? I remember all of the time, for 45 minutes we spoke. I said, as a pastor, I'm concerned. People said you picked the vice presidential candidate as a Muslim. Are you trying to Islamize Nigeria? I know exactly what he said to me. Have I Islamized my home yet? We began to talk. I was convinced. And I started asking questions upon questions. And the day a man told me a full story about him, and I compared it to how we met, I said, I think this is the right man for us to support. And especially for me as a youth, I've been advocating for youth in governance. We have been marginalized for so long. And he promised that he was going to do all of these things. Now, if he did it while as governor, and even after leaving office, it has become a lifestyle. I think this is the man we ought to trust. Not just because he's saying it, because this has become a part of him. And that's my personal story with him.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
You know, every time you open that your stupid mouth, you show exactly what you know.
What?
You are drunk.
Jesus! You can't defend your wife anymore now, Julius.
Right.
None of this is his fault.
What's going on?
I can't explain, just come.
We are the Durojays.
We
are the Akbans. We are the Obioras.
So how are you doing?
Who cares?
She's a rude girl!
You are a stupid man!
Oh, Miss Mila, you are a stupid woman!
I mistakenly carried her bra. Mistakenly.
Hey!
You took my bra! What gives you the right?
He said he can face you.
This is interesting.
What?
I thought all we were doing was for your own good.
Which is to get married.
If you had fainted and you just woke up, what would you like to eat?
This is an old comedy script.
Who is this mysterious guest?
Anna is the name. She is the brain behind all the stars.
Is it low? Excuse me? Don't you think it's too early?
So where is she? You better stop talking.
I can't take it anymore. Just so you know that.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have a few questions for our guests.
Okay, so I was going to talk about, being from Edo State, you just sort of mentioned that Oshomole was best governor at the time. I remember, I think, okay, he wasn't him, but what exactly would you say as the son of the soil is happening in Edo? Let's talk Edo for a while. How would you say the government of the day is dealing with things on ground, and how does it provide for youth on ground?
During the last election, Comrade Adams, His Excellency Oshomole, did warn the Dolites not to vote for this current administration, but many did not listen, and now we are seeing the chaos. The governor has turned Edo State to be something else, whereby even within the PDP there's rancor, there's fight, there's division. So I believe it's time for APC to take over Edo State and bring peace back. And we're going to begin with this presidential election. We are canvassing for the past few days. Comrade Adams has been touring the Edo North, and we're beginning our world tour, I think, tomorrow in Edo Central. And we're going to be, APC is going to win Edo State, that we are very sure. The governor, of course, everybody knows it, including those who are PDP. If you contest for House of a class rep now in Edo State, I don't think he's going to win, because they have seen the damage. Everything Adam told us this man was, that's exactly what has played out now in Edo State. So we know we're going to win the Edo State for Asiwaju.
So I want to ask a question. You know, social media, there are people online, you know, a lot of young people online, a very, very strong army that seem to be on the attack. What is APC's, what's the PCC for APC doing to reach out to this group of aggrieved people online who feel that APC candidate does not speak for them, cannot speak for them, and how are you reaching out to them to ensure that you're not just saying, okay, let's leave them, let's follow these people that we know are our own?
You know, I always tell people, you know, some of us, all of us, we have blood flowing in our vein, not acid. So sometimes the attack can be so much, but the step we have taken is not to go the route they are going. If we want to come heavily, nobody has monopoly in attack. Nobody has monopoly in insult. I have data, I have Facebook and all of that. We can go the same route, but what is the nation going to become? So we don't want to go the route of attack. We are campaigning. We are addressing the issues, sticking to the facts. After the election, Asiwaju is going to be president to everybody, whether you voted for him or not. He's going to be your president. And many are going to retract their step back to say, oh, I didn't know this is who this man was. I didn't know this is what this man can do. So the attacks are coming. Many of us have been attacked. We've lost friends. But this is what we believe. I'm a member of the APC. And I'm not just supporting Asiwaju because I'm APC. I'm supporting the man because this is the man I believe is going to empower us youth. I'm seeing beyond 2023 election. I'm looking beyond this election. I need my next president to be one who will accommodate the youth, who will empower us, the youth. Now, when I use the word SA, not to say SA is a bad position. It's just that I'm saying we're better than just being SAs. You know, we medical doctors. I have an experience where I took my child to, this was 2014. My son needed serious medical attention. And I was referred to a specialist. The way the doctor was describing this specialist, I thought he's one old white Jewish man, doctor, who has been practicing for like 17 years. That this is Methodist Hospital, the hospital presidents go to. I got there, it was one young Yoruba young man who was a doctor. I kept looking at him. At the time, he asked me what the problem was. No, I'm surprised that as young as you are the specialist in this hospital. And the way the doctor spoke about you, I thought it was going to be something. So if we can be this in these nations, why can't we even be more in our own dear country?
So for those who are already in support of the flag, your flag bearer and the party, what would you like to see them do towards the election?
We want them to go out and campaign. We want them to stick to the issues. They're going to insult you, they've insulted us, but we're not going to go down to the mud like they are doing. I posted this morning on a page. Somebody was so angry, he wanted us to go and backlash. I said, no, we are winning. We must act like winners. Some of them are losing. That's why they're acting like losers. So we cannot go the same route they are going. They're going to insult you. Let them keep doing what they're doing. You see, insult, they will never take us serious on social media. That's why I keep telling youth. If you stay on social media and just run your mouth, come out and join in the politics. Attend rallies, attend debates. Go and contest. Even if you can't buy the form, throw your heart in the race. Do something for them to take us serious. All this insult is going to end up on Facebook.
If your candidate is invited for the debate, would he come?
If he's invited, when he went to London, he answered questions. You see, there are some media houses who have decided to throw heavy attacks. You know, that some of us have gone to such media house when you're supposed to stick to the fact. In journalism, you're supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to, you know, ask questions, not to bring anybody down. The first TV station that asked me about being a pastor and supporting Muslim ticket is TVC. I've been to AIT, I went to others. When I left, I called the producer. I said, I respect you people. You didn't say because you're close to the APC, you won't address this issue. I like the fact that as a journalist, you ask the question, is there been the issues in the heart of Nigeria? You stick to the fact. But not coming here, you want to, cause an embarrass me on national TV, cause an insult. Everybody know exactly where you belong to. That's not the way you're supposed to play when it comes to journalists. So he will attend, debates, but I don't think it's everyone.
As someone based in who spent 19 years in the US, I'm sure you have a stronger touch in diaspora. What exactly are you doing about Nigerians in diaspora, and how are you bringing them into this campaign?
I'm so glad you asked that question. My dear brother, Prince Ade, is the director of the Diaspora Committee. He is doing a marvelous job reaching out to those in the last time I saw him, I told him to slow down. That is making us look like we don't know what we're doing. Because every day, this guy is busy. As a matter of fact, right now, they are making arrangements with airlines to bring Nigerians abroad home to come and vote. I mean, he's doing such a marvelous job. On the 27th, we're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia for a meeting. That same 27th, we have another one in Canada. So there are several meetings going on right now, some London also. So he's doing a fantastic job to rent those abroad. But you know, many of them will not be able to come down and vote. What we are telling them is to let their parents, their sisters, their family members know the right person to vote for. And those in the diaspora, if you look at the manifesto, actually what you're speaking, some of the system we know. I've always said you need somebody who have tasted this system to be able to come and introduce what we have seen there. When I hear him talk about student loan, these other guys don't know what they call student loan. They don't know how it operates. You have to live in the system, even benefit from it to know how it works. You talk about the credit system where you can buy cars today, you don't without having the entire money to pay for it. We don't have those systems here in Nigeria. So these are some of the things that Shiwaji is introducing. And those in the diaspora, they know it because they live it. And I believe that is getting to them, and they are passing the message across.
All right, we have to wrap up with you. But I think I'll take a few comments on social media before we run off. But while we're searching for comments, a lot of Nigerians out there, I mean, one of the things I like to commend the PCC for is the fact that they've kept this campaign issue-based. I've seen a lot of negative energy from different quarters. Yeah. And I realize that when people from your party especially, they focus, and even as well, it's almost as if he just wants you to come to vote for based on what he has done, not based on the sentiments. Yes. Focus on my ability and capability, which is a good thing. But I see that many Nigerians are gradually removing the fluff and focusing on the issues. Yeah. But there are other people that, regardless of what you say, the fact that there's an almost inherent hatred for this candidate, regardless of what he's about to do. How do we somewhat, trying to find the right word, how do you plan to ensure that those people don't influence your own people who you hope that will vote for you?
Oh, those who are convinced with Shiwaji, you need to go to this rally. I've been to many of these rallies. Those who are convinced, they go all the way. My only advice would be, don't be shy to come out and boldly declare your support for Shiwaji. Some people are shy or they're afraid of the backlash. Some of us are not afraid. We'll go on any national TV and declare our support because we've come to know what this man is capable of doing. What we have seen because of the attack, many people decide to stay low. They will only speak in the midst of those who also support Asiwaju. But I want to say to them, go out, don't insult. We have been able to keep the issues, the campaign based on issues. We have been able to stick to the fact. But the media has changed the whole narrative. We have some media houses who all they see is the negative part of Asiwaju. For example,
just like you said, all over the world, a lot of media houses they all have linens. Even your America that CNN, Fox News, CNBC, everybody
it's not supposed to be so.
Yeah.
The ethics of journalism. It's not supposed to be so. But look at Chedem House. I was watching on TV and I saw what Asiwaju did. I was very excited. But this is leadership. This is the kind of thing we want. But a lot of people took it negatively. But another candidate, all of a sudden, probably loved what he saw, decided to do it, and everybody now is me. They kept quiet. So negative media news have been the one changing the narrative.
Yeah, but you know that your party can raise it with INEC as well as with NBC because all media houses are regulated, at least TV media houses are regulated on NBC, and there are codes that are supposed to control that. So, because I see a lot of complaints on both sides, and I feel we can decide let's not turn it into a forever fight. Go legal.
Usually after the election
that they can then do all of
that. Yeah, we became distrusted. There's so much going on.
Everybody's focusing on
last night.
We have to run. Thank you very much.